The festival continues, deathless on our part. Not so much deathless on our enemies' part, just how we like it. We pick up where we left off last week, where we finished the first 2 of the 4 scenarios in this campaign. If you didn't watch the first part, I suggest you watch that one before this video. If you still want to just crack on and watch this first and are wondering about the rules, they're on screen at the moment. The short version is, I can't lose any unit in any way. No dismissing, no summoning, and no losing war machines either, as they count as units. Resurrection though, that's allowed. Our main man, Kilgor, is extremely well set up for the final stretch, having maxed out all of the secondary skills I wanted and needed. We'll get some use out of Wisdom today, as well as some excellent utility out of Air Magic. Otherwise, not much more to add on Kilgor's part. Gurnison is quite strong as well, and he will be put to good use with his quite strong ballista skills. He also has great mobility, and some slowing capabilities with expert earth magic. When he gets a spellbook in slow, that is. Gerd and Oris will just be pure utility heroes, so I'm not gonna spend much time on checking them out. First up today is the map Clan War. This is a large map in which we fight for dominance against the 3 other stronghold clans. House Tellus in the north as blue, House the Gab in the west as green, House Vilmet in the south as tan, and we are House Kilgor in the east as red. All houses have a second stronghold village nearby as well. The objective in this scenario is to defeat all the other houses and their heroes. Deathless, of course. Our heroes are limited to level 30, can't be lost, meaning no hit and run strats, but there is no time limit this time, as far as I know at least. Shiva of House Vilmet for some reason starts off with 2 behemoths. I guess she's the king's favorite or something. Probably some lore I missed out on. Anyway, let's take a look at what this map has to offer. Right off the bat, we can see that each of the house territories are separated by magic garrisons guarded by 8 behemoths each, meaning there's no magic to be cast here, heightening the difficulty of the fights. But there are 3 other ways to reach the different zones. The 2-way portals guarded by Thunderbirds, which are not easy fights to do early. Going through the middle zone, which is guarded by Ogre Magi, significantly easier than Thunderbirds. Or even going through the underground, but the subterranean gates are guarded by packs of behemoths. In the underground, there's a dungeon town, which opens up some possibilities, namely level 4 and 5 spells, which stronghold towns can't offer. This possibly could mean Resurrection, Town Portal, Fly, or Dimension Door. Getting Resurrection is basically necessary, while the other mobility spells are mostly convenient. Even if I won't get Fly or DD from the dungeon town, there are more opportunities. From the pyramids, guarded by 20 diamond golems and 40 gold golems, and teaches a random level 5 spell. Possibilities. But the guards are so big and strong, and we are so meek and helpless, and the AI is quite aggressive. How can we do this? Well, dear viewer, see this middle zone with the 3 behemoth crags? They are the keys to victory. If I flag all 3 crags, use my side heroes to collect as many resources as possible in order to build up the behemoths in my towns, I will have an insane behemoth growth to clear the map really fast, while also scaring away possible aggressive AI advances. Reaching the middle zone fast can be done by taking advantage of one of the scenario bonus choices, 5 Cyclopes. So, the plan will be as follows. Use the 5 Cyclopes to go ASAP to the middle zone and flag the behemoth crags, build up the behemoth layers to get insane numbers of behemoths, get the dungeon town and build up the mage guild for possible resurrection or town portal, go pyramid sightseeing for a good level 5 spell, preferably a mobility spell, and by all these powers combined, I am Captain with all of this combined, we should be able to take on all the other houses. As long as they don't blitz us down before we really get going. Sounds good? Let's just give it a go. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, or even become a channel member. As I just mentioned, I will be taking the 5 Cyclopes as the starting bonus. In order to find a seed with good spells, I enter the Ore Pit Hobgoblin fight and reset once. Now, it's time to go ham. With Kilgor, I immediately head west for the middle zone. getting some hobgoblin joiners on the way. I leave these to Garrison, who first flags the sawmill before taking everything but the Cyclops off of Kilgor's hands. Picking up some gold, I then engage big fight number 1 of this map, the subterranean behemoth guard fight. 12 behemoths against my 5 Cyclops? I like these odds. Auto gets crushed, but that's okay. I move a bit forward to get full damage range before casting mass slow. Now, it's rock chucking time. Due to my 20 attack, my Cyclops do quite a bit of damage, usually one-shotting the 1 stacks and 2-shotting the 2 stacks. Unfortunately, the behemoths have a tendency to get morales in this fight, complicating things a little bit. Meaning, I have to cast a few lightning bolts, which do 225 damage, which is about 1.4 behemoths in damage. Due to this, I can kite the super slow big boys around without using too much mana. I do have to recast slow though, as it only lasts 7 turns due to my 7 spell power. Eventually, after 13 rounds, I get the job done, using only 26 mana. On we march. Gerd will mostly just go around picking up resources, so she won't get much screen time unless she's nearby when action is happening. Same thing with Oris. Both play important roles in getting me enough resources to build what I need though, which is a behemoth lair in House Kilgor, needing around a bajillion wooden ore. Day 2 and Kilgor takes on the second town guard, Orc Chieftains. The procedure here is actually quite simple. Stone Skin together with my 11 defense lets me quite handily tank the Orc hits, while slowly whittling down their numbers from top to bottom. Using a combination of Magic Arrow plus Cyclops shots, I will eventually only take 1 damage from their shots, and when I get low enough, which happens on turn 4, I can just cast Cure to heal up, and continue rock throwing. Confident in Auto's ability to one-shot each of the Orc stacks, I finish with quick combat. Easy work. Auto even does the town fight lossless. Nice. I can continue west, taking on the middle zone guards, Ogre Magi, already on day 2. This is a surprisingly tough fight. Even though the ogres are slow, they're also very tanky. I use the same strategy as against the behemoths, but I'm not gonna 2-shot these big stacks, am I? Unless I bless. So I do. Now, I do even more damage. The terrain makes it so the ogres can't overwhelm me by sheer stack numbers, but I still need to kite a bit. After almost getting trapped in the top left corner, I haste my Cyclops and start the kiting process. Since these boys are so durable, I need to recast slow when there are still 5 stacks left. Yikes. I feel my mana draining by the second here. Due to the haste I casted, I can move around quite recklessly. But if these ogres got any morals, I would probably have had to expend even more mana, which I really don't want to do. Eventually, I find a safe haven down in the bottom left corner after ogres cut themselves off. I recast slow for the second time and start calculating. I realize I can take a hit or 2 and not kite anymore. The Cyclops suffer melee penalties, so they don't finish off the 3 stacks, but it's still fine, as they're taken out after morale and the retaliation. The final stack is then hit with 2 shots, finally finishing the fight. It's incredible what a good spell slow is. Jeez. Now it's straight for the Behemoth Crag. Garrison, meanwhile, picks up more necessary resources before heading for the second town to hopefully leave some slow army behind. In House Kilgor, I build a wolf pen, while I focus more on economy in the second town, building a mage guild level 1. Kilgor then goes for the first behemoth dwelling, and also just wins, I guess? Unexpected, but I'll take it. Afterwards, I pick up more resources, swing by the rallying flag for some bonus movement, while also picking up the crown of the Supreme Magi for a nice knowledge boost. Garrison then visits Crag and buys a spellbook and learns slow. Very nice. Also forgetting to leave the slower poopy units behind. Not nice. Cliffnest is built in town number 1, closing in on the lair, while a marketplace is built in town number 2. Before going for the other behemoth crags, Kilgor takes out some earth elementals guarding an ore pit, and finishing the day after narrowly avoiding accidentally fighting some red dragons. Gurnison then finds out he forgot to leave his slower units behind. Oopsie whoopsie. But we also learn just how impressive and cool the ballista can be. All the enemy wolf raiders wait, giving me the chance to cast mass slow. I then wait with my units before the ballista takes out the wolf rider stack, doing half damage mind you. It's so satisfying. Same procedure next turn. Now the hobgoblin joiners just run in and get a couple of one-taps in themselves before, and let me slow-mo this, the ballista shoots an incredible shot. I love it. The animation is so good too. I wish the ballista was even stronger, to be honest. This fight gets me Scales of the Greater Basilisk, which I forgot to equip, before I use Oris as a shitty creature dump and transfer the slow units over to her. Thanks, Oris. Now for an encore of the ballista satisfaction. 7 stacks this time. Glorious. I cast slow and let the elegance of the ballista begin. Eventually, the hobgoblins join in on the fun as well, but we all know who the star of the show is. Shot after shot. Easy peasy. I then build a behemoth lair on day 4. This is why Stronghold is such a cool faction, the early access to tier 7s. In town number 2, I build a blacksmith and call it a day. Otto then makes very quick work of the 2 remaining crags in the middle zone, securing me 3 behemoths already. Terrifying in the hands of Kilgor. I also make sure to flag the sawmill on the way out. 50 wood is clearly not enough. Gurnison then picks up the most beautiful artifact in the game, Golden Bow. The ballista just got even stronger. I even remember to equip the good power artifact. What a day this is. Afterwards, I take on the alchemist's lab guards of hobgoblins. Again, the strat is simply mass slow into ranged destruction. I could do this and watch this all day. If it isn't obvious, this is my favorite scenario in this campaign. I get to use behemoths and ballista with high attack heroes. It literally cannot get any better. I also purposely keep Gurnison kinda close to Kilgor for a good reason you'll see next turn. Now, to really maximize the behemoth growth, I build a citadel in House Kilgor, and I also build a tavern in Crag. The fight to get out of the middle zone is quite a bit easier now that I have behemoths. Still the same general strategy, mass slow into big hits, but this time I can do the biggest of hits with the behemoths, making the need to recast slow just vanish. So what was a 19 round kiting bonanza is now turned into a 6 round all out aggression fest. Incredible what a few behemoths can do in a fight. I then just transfer the Cyclops over to Oris, who in turn trades them for Gurnison's hobgoblins. Good old Ballista Boy is now purely a ranged hero. After moving Oris out of Gurnison's way, I send Kilgor to the Magic Spring to get a massive plus 239 spell points, while Gurnison heads up north to explore, letting Otto take the wheel a bit. I finalized the necessary week 1 builds by getting a castle in town number 1, and then a city hall in town number 2. Town hall was pre-built in both towns if I never mentioned that. Kilgor's next objective is to get to the dungeon town, so he heads underground, while Gurnison does some general uneventful exploring. It's week 2 already, and Kilgor celebrates by sweeping some evil eyes off the map, and I make my way towards the underground town. Right next to it are some Shackles of War, which is a really handy way to make sure you always get the enemies' artifacts. In order to make sure I actually get the behemoths from the dwellings I already flagged, I send Oris towards the middle zone, hoping she won't be attacked by curious AI heroes. Now in town number 2, I start building towards a second behemoth lair, getting a fort, making a huge dent in my ore collection. Picking up the shackles, I then engage the infernal trogs guarding the dungeon town. A whole 300 of them. Otto somehow wins by only losing 1, but I need to lose 0. Mass slow is cast, and then I slowly move in for some hits. On turn 3, I take massive amounts of damage due to 2 Trog morals. This was not in my plans. Now I have to spend more mana to keep my behees alive. I cast Cure and then just move out of the way. I can't survive 4 big hits, so in order to save time, I also cast a lightning bolt, reducing the need to kite, which takes out 37 trogs in 1 hit. Very nice. This makes it safe to go in for a one-shot on a big trog stack, not taking enough damage in return to lose a unit. And with 20 HP left, I take out the final big stack, before Retaliation takes out a small stack. Phew, close one. The town is then taken, and I start out by building a marketplace, as I need to trade to afford the higher mage guild levels anyway. I'm not gonna hang around here with Kilgor waiting for the mage guild to be built, so instead I head straight for the exit. Gurnison way up north, then flags a gem pond before taking on some rocks. I just want to show this fight because of the ballista again. After casting slow, both the Cyclops and the ballista just one-shot everything in sight, which feels so good. The rocks eventually reach the Cyclops, but don't do enough damage to kill anything, so it's an easy fight. I love me some ballista. Kilgor's next objective is the pyramid, but before he gets there, I want to get him some more behemoths. So I send Gerd towards House Kilgor to fetch the 6 behemoths waiting there. Not a bad haul, right? Gurnison then finishes up his arc by taking out some ogres guarding a hill fort, upgrading his Cyclops to Cyclops Kings. This now as powerful as he will ever get in this scenario. Feels very good. Gerd picks up the behemoths on week 2 day 4, and also gets a rock, in order to be a bit faster around the map. Kilgor meets up with her, taking the behemoths as well as an artifact Gerd got from a chest. Next stop, the south. Annoyingly, a tan hero, Craghack, makes his way into the middle zone, bothering Oris, who has recruited the dwelling behemoths. This complicates things a tiny bit. Kilgor still heads south, but with a little bit more urgency than previously. Oris just GTFOs, not wanting anything to do with the hack himself, who just strolls around in the zone like he owns the place. Kilgor, meanwhile, gets some crystals and gold from a dwarven treasury, leveling up into fire magic or learning. Don't really care either way, so fire magic it is. Afterwards, I take on the pyramid. This is a behemoth dream fight. Ignoring the defenses of these extremely tanky guys, which can never morale and never outspeed, is just wonderful. I don't even slow at first in order to get them closer. That's how slow they initially are. I wait on turn 2, then go in for a hit against the 14 gold golems, one-shotting them. The top diamond golems are the next victims, getting just eviscerated. I can even wait the next turn, even though the other diamond golem stack is just 3 hexes away. This lets me walk from golem stack to golem stack, one-shotting all of the remaining ones. Easy does it, and I'm rewarded with Fly. Not as good as Dimension but still very, very good. If Tan didn't make their presence known in the middle, I'd go further south to a small island with a celestial necklace of bliss, but I'm in too much of a hurry now. Darn. So instead I cast a newly learned spell and head for the middle, making sure to also get Oris to safety in the second town, and also trading gold for 1 single ore to afford the behemoth layer here as well. Kilgor then takes out 2 different packs of orc chieftains, one of which was guarding a crystal cavern, which I make sure to flag, before aiming for the subterranean gate, hoping Tan won't enter my territory before I build up the Dungeon Mage Guild. Gurnison, who has come a bit back south, then does something I completely forgot to do. Aim for the ore pit right next to my main town. A massive oversight on my part. Shouldn't need to trade for ore ever if I remembered this mine. Before ending the day, I also build the first Mage Guild level down under. Since Craghack refuses to leave, I send Kilgor towards him. Gurnison flags the ore pit, visits a useless Keymaster's tent for some reason, collects more resources, takes out some ogres with auto, and ends up surrounded by treasure. Lucky dude. Gerd recruits the day 1 behemoths in my main and heads west. Oris does the same in the second town, meeting up with Gerd, transferring the beasts over to Oris, who has a massive 13 behemoths herself. Due to Kilgor's hack problem, I delayed the Mage Guild in dungeon by 1 turn to build a resource silo. Not needed, but might as well. And also a citadel in Crag. I start day 2 by trading for crystals to build Mage Guild level 2, and since Craghack seemed a bit scared, I sent Kilgor underground. Finally. Heading towards the dungeon town. We also get to see Oris in action, taking the 13 behemoths to take on some Dendroid guards. Not too shabby. The trees are slow enough to not need expert slow anyway, and the behemoths are strong enough to take out most of them in 1 hit. So, after a 3 morale on turn 2, I one-shot the moraling stack, and almost one-shot the closest tree stack the next turn. But then they die to a retaliation. I move a bit away from the final trees in order to let them close, but I don't risk another morale and go in for a hit, bracing myself for a potential retaliation, which never comes. Good fight. Oris levels up into some useless skills and picks up gold and a useless artifact afterwards. Good turn. I finalize the town number 2 build by getting a castle and see that Craghack gets a bit more daring when Kilgor is away. After getting some more gold on Kilgor, I take out some earth elementals and do not much else. Gurnison gets some sulfur and flags a sulfur dune, making my trading needs go significantly down. The only thing I need is crystals for Mage Guild level 3, which I sacrifice some gold for. Craghack then gets even more daring, that fool. Picking up even more resources, Kilgor finally makes his way into the dungeon town, again. I trade for the necessary Mage Guild level 4 resources, build it, and see that it teaches Town Portal and Resurrection. Literally perfect. I won't go for Mage Guild level 5, as it doesn't teach anything good on this seed anyway, but I'm still very happy. So happy, in fact, that after moving away with Oris from the second town with all the behemoths, I town portal to the wrong town with Kilgor. Good job me. Thankfully, this just makes Craghack so bold as to basically move right next to it, so I can just TP there the next turn, pick up the behemoths, and fly over to engage him, with 22 behemoths, in week 3. Good luck, my guy. Otto loses 2, I wanna lose 0. He starts off by casting Protect from Water on his Soul Behemoth. Doesn't he know that barbarians can't learn water magic? What a noob. I cast Expert Slow, which is so much better. And on turn 2, I Lightning Bolt his goblins, taking them all out. And waiting with my behemoths, which he slows. Unnecessary, bro. He inches forwards, I inch away, completely fumbling by casting Haste, forgetting he can just slow me if I wait, so I have to go in for a hit. His Wolf Riders are my victims, before he obviously slows me, and hits me with his Behees, Orcs, and Rocks. His Rocks even outspeed the next turn, getting another hit in, but dying to retaliation. With 11 HP left, I cast Cure, restoring HP and removing the slow. This lets me reach his Ogres, finishing them off, and Craggy Boy then casts Slow, again, to no avail. I can finish the fight by lightning bolting his Orcs, and extinguishing his fire elementals with my behemoths. It's nice to not need resurrection. Now, the massacre of the opposing clans begins. The next day, I find an unguarded blue town, so I just take it. After stabling up first, of course. The utility of View Air is great here, as I can just check where everyone is. Very handy. But I end up just chilling in town anyway. The day after, I see blue has moved quite far away, but I go for them anyway, misjudging the distance to the hero, so I redirect for their town midday. Unfortunately, green says hello near my main town during their turn, so I have to make a call. I check View Air, and see that I can probably take blue's main town and then town portal to my main to defend. Due to the armor arrow tower bug, I take massive amounts of damage when sieging air, which is where resurrection comes in very handy. I take out the orc chieftains with 2 lightning bolts, and some ogre magi move in very closely, daring me to hit. But I figure that if I take them out, and the hobgoblin's morale, I will have lost a behemoth with no chance to resurrect it. So I defend, lose a behemoth, resurrect the next turn, take out the hobgoblins, expecting the ogres to hit my behees, but they don't. so I take another round of arrow tower damage before I can finish the fight. I guess that resurrection came in handy after all, huh? I don't expect blue to reach their main again on this turn, so I TP to House Kilgor, recruiting the behemoths, giving me 27 in total, before taking on Krellion, green's main man. It's time to see what the behemoths are really made of. I move as far away from his Thunderbirds as possible, before casting Slow, which doesn't affect his Wyverns, Rocks or Thunderbirds. I guess he has maxed out his resistance. Great. Now I have to defend to let him come to me. Both his T-Birds and Rocks outspeed my behemoths, so they reach in 2 turns, taking out one of my guys. At least I take out both stacks in return. Then his Wyverns reach, kill another big guy, get a morale, and kill another behemoth. Jeez, the luck on this guy. Thankfully, I can just resurrect them, which I do, and destroy his poor Wyverns, doing over 4k damage. Yikers. Now, only slowed creatures remain. They don't reach anytime soon, so I find the opportunity to lightning bolt his orcs, one-shotting them. I suspect his ogres will take out the behemoth if they reach, so instead I move away, creating some distance between his creatures. In the end, I figure I've already used resurrection here, might as well use it again, so I just decimate his hobgoblins, getting smacked by his ogres and behemoths in return, losing 2 whole behemoths of my own, which I, of course, just raise from the grave again. Now I only need to hit his behemoths for the fight win. This guy was pretty strong for an AI hero this early. I'm not sure how his wyverns got the morale, considering he had Spirit of Oppression, but it is what it is. Maybe he never equipped it or something, I don't know. I end up equipping it, as I like to have morale-less fights against the AI if I can help it. Ending my turn, I see a blue boat hero disembark next to Garrison, who is now far south, and a blue hero close to their main town as well. Sorug next to Garrison is weak enough for him to take on, right? Yeah, auto takes him, easily. LOL. Close to Blue's main town is Desa, who doesn't look like much of a threat. So I TP to the dungeon town to build a mana vortex, forgetting to fly first, and then to House Teles to take on Desa. He starts off by magic arrowing me for 60 damage, which is very annoying. I reply by lightning bolting, which is much more satisfying. The behemoths go into the corner after his slow units move, and he then makes the 200 IQ play of blinding my behemoths and then immediately going in for a hit and kill off his own wolf raiders. Very, very clever. This is what I like to see. I then assume he will continue to be an idiot, so I don't slow and instead cast more lightning bolts. Still in the corner, he starts magic arrowing again, but he's out of mana now, so no reason for me to resurrect unless I misplay. So I haste and move from one corner to the next, creating enough distance between his elementals for me to take out 2 stacks without the third one reaching. Safe to say, I one-shot all of them. Good fight, Desa. Good fight. The next day, I view air, looking for potential targets, but not really finding any. Instead, I look for the portal to the north, taking out the T-Bird guards and portaling through, eventually ending up in Tan territory. Time for some revenge for your aggression, nerds. After doing a bit of trading for crystals using all the new marketplaces I've acquired, I upgrade the behemoth lair. This is gonna be good. Tan shamelessly go for my second town, and I reply by going for their main, which doesn't even have a castle. But I still lose a behemoth to arrow tower plus lightning bolt combo. I answer with expert slow and wait. Terek then tries to move out of his walls, not succeeding due to being super slow. Haha. Down in the corner I go. More arrow tower damage before I lightning bolt his orcs, evaporating them. He then hastes his rocks and goes in for a hit on the catapult? What? Super stupid play in my opinion, but whatever. Now it's my turn to haste. I reach his ogre magi, absolutely demolishing them. Woof! Kilgor behemoths, am I right? He then hastes his own single behemoth and sends his guy in to die. I've lost the second behemoth to all the tickling damage, so I resurrect and move away. Now he can slow me and start lightning bolting again. which, of course, he does. And now I need to rest again, dragging out an already extremely winning fight way too much. After he hastes his goblins so they can keep chipping away at my catapult, I seize the opportunity to haste my own guys and defend, resting the dead guy the next turn, and then finally finishing off the fight. Way longer than needed, that fight. I then town portal to my main, trade basically all my resources for crystals so I can upgrade my behemoths to ancient behemoths. If I was strong before, I don't even know what I am now. Unstoppable maybe? I TP to Crag to dissuade Vey from taking my town, but he just moves closer in anyway. Thank you very much. Finally a fight auto wins lossless, and I can go for the blue hero who moved in on the tan town I took, Yogg. Auto loses one ancient boy, so I gotta do this manually. You know the drill by now. Expert slow, wait, and then go to town. Yogg apparently has resistance too, as his ogres and goblins are unaffected, so I punish the ogres by destroying them. I follow up by lightning bolting the orcs and moving away, dragging his units closer slowly. Another lightning bolt takes care of his upgraded wolfy boys.
Hi there, Mr. Wolfy Boy!
And he moves in for a hit with his non-slowed goblins, doing some damage, I suppose. Taking out his rocks afterwards, I try to cast a lightning bolt on his hobos, but I'm blocked by his resistance. Very annoying. So I have to use 2 whole turns to take him out instead of 1. Can you believe it? At least he has a couple of artifact upgrades for me, so I won't be too annoyed. Next stop, Tan's other town, which I reached the very next day with only 58 mana left. Gotta be a bit careful here. Thankfully, I have more HP to work with now, so even after the arrow tower damage and the rock hit, I have more than enough health to simply lightning bolt the wolf riders and hit the goblins for the easy fight win. Very nice. I check view air again, seeing that tan and green now share green's territory and that blue has a straggler hero to the northwest. I decide my best course of action is to replenish my mana close to town number 2, then TP to the north, and stable up on day 7 for some reason. This definitely lost me movement in the long run. Now I fly over the mountains heading for Tan's last town. Before that, blue is banished from this land for not having a town for 7 days, and I go for Tan's town, which is free and open, so I just waddle in, and then set my sights on green's town. Jabarkus, a green hero, has found his way close to one of my towns, so I have to punish him. I split my behemoths up, hoping auto will handle it, but it doesn't. Manual it is. And apparently, Jabarkus has an orb of inhibition. Is the run really dying here? No magic at all. Shit. He defends his shooters with all he's got after I wait. I'm getting a bit nervous here. Just 80 HP lost on 1 turn thankfully, so I can safely move in with both my stacks. On turn 2, I figure his 48 orcs are the most threatening, so I take out the wolf raiders blocking the path to them, decimating the orcs afterwards. Thankfully, Jabarkus splits his focus and hits both of my stacks, so I can just hit whatever I can reach afterwards, which is everything, and wait for the fight to finish. I end up lossless, but I got seriously nervous for a second there. Green is vanquished, so I guess Tan took green's last town. Anyway, I'm not equipping the Orb of Inhibition, I'll tell ya that much. I swing by back home, meeting up with Gurnison, getting the power artifact from him, and also getting 5 more behemoths. Nice. Back to the west I go, looking for more heroes to take out. I find Ignatius, who's just blasted away by auto. And I got +2 defense from the arena as well. And now, Tan's last town, which I find the next day, flying past whatever is in the way. Another -1 BE auto fight, another manual takeover for me. Simple strat here, I move into Wolf Raider range during tactics, before taking huge damage from the towers, and lightning bolting the orcs, as I always do. The wolfies take the bait, getting smacked in retaliation. I see that I have more than enough HP to survive tower hits the next turn, so I just destroy the ogres, take the tower damage, lightning bolt the orc chieftains, and finish the fight by gently caressing the goblins. Looking like we'll actually do it, boys. The next few days are just a comedy of Tan walking back and forth as I TP back and forth trying to reach them after misjudging my movement getting a level from a tree of knowledge. Completely unnecessary for me, but oh well. Eventually, Shiva comes back into range and I seize the opportunity to get her. Finally. I cast Mass Slow, of course, wait, and see that she casts Protect from Water and then just does whatever. She poses no real threat here. I move in to take out her rocks in one hit, then lightning bolt her hobgoblins the next turn, smashing her 17 wyverns afterwards. She then does something unexpected. She dispels her behemoths, making them able to reach my own behemoths, taking one out. Good play from her actually. But I just res it and speed over to destroy what's left of her army in 2 fell swoops. An incredibly long scenario, but a very fun one to do. Definitely my favorite. Only thing that's left now is the final stretch. This final scenario is aptly called For the Throne, because that's what we're gunning for here. We're coming for you, Boragus, hiding up in the northeast corner, as far away from us as you can possibly get. Having artifacts up the wazoo, making your stats incredible. On your cursed ground, stopping us from casting anything over level 1 magic. Never leaving your castle walls, not allowing us to bait you away from the magicless terrain. They say that when your back is against the wall, you truly learn your own character. Well, today, my back is against the wall. Time to show who I really am. So what's the plan of attack? It's simple. I rush him. Using fly, I can skip over the garrison, going straight for the behemoth crags, netting me a couple of behemoths to take on Boragus. Using the northwest corner portal, I can end up behind his town, flying over the quest guard wanting me to take out the middle water elementals before passing, and reach the Duke himself before he gets the chance to power up. But what about magic arrows? I hear worried viewers whisper to themselves. You're right to be worried. With his stats, he will definitely kill my behemoths with magic arrows, and from testing, he will always build a mage guild. So, what's the solution? It's simple. Magic arrow only appears 88% of the time in stronghold mage guilds, so if I reset to find a seed where it doesn't have this particular spell, maybe I stand a chance. Let's go for it. When you come at the king, you best not miss. Of the scenario bonus choices, there's only one real option. The Thunderbirds are too squishy, the upgraded Ogre Fort gives nothing of value, but the Lion's Shield of Courage gives me a lot. Easy choice. To find my preferred seed, I enter the Hobgoblin or Pit Guard fight and reset 8 times. It's time to go. I cast Fly and just sprint north. Same deal on day 2, but now I stop by the Behemoth Crags. First one, I start by casting Slow to negate any morale shenanigans, and on turn 2, I Lightning Bolt, taking out 2 out of 3 Behemoths, finishing the last one off with a Magic Arrow the next turn. Easy does it. 1 Behemoth in the bank. A quick pit stop on the Fountain of Youth before taking on Crag number 2. Exact same strategy this time, Slow on turn 1, Lightning Bolt on turn 2. But this time, I can just take the final Behemoth out with my own Behemoth. Fight over, Behemoth number 2 in the bank. Now, to regen my mana, I need to take the nearby neutral town, which is guarded by ogres. A mass slow buys me time to cast the necessary spells, but I'm not exactly swimming in mana at this point. A lightning bolt on turn 2 takes out the upgraded stack, while my 2 behemoths rinse a normal ogre stack afterwards. Much of the same the next turn, 1 lightning bolt takes out 1 6 stack, while a behemoth hit takes out a 5 stack. And would you believe it? The exact same deal the turn after as well. Never change a winning team, I suppose. Now I dispose of the actual town guards and walk in, leaving the wolf riders and goblins behind and build a mage guild to restore my mana. Day 3, I fly and move northwest. And that's about it. Day 4, I fly northwest, but this time I go through the portal. I elegantly skipped the quest guard, reaching Boragus' town already. It's time to duke it out. Auto loses, unsurprisingly, but I think we have a shot here. He casts Protect from Fire, which is a great sign. I forget we're on cursed ground and try to cast Lightning Bolt. Adjusting my brain a bit, and then cast Magic Arrow instead, taking out his orcs, before hiding in the corner. Due to his artifacts, he outspeeds and goes in for a hit on the catapult. I don't mind that at all. I then cast Mass Slow to give me the upper hand speed-wise. This allows me to take out his normal ogres before I make the safe play of Magic Arrowing his ogre magi, whipping them down a bit, and taking out his goblins as well. He's determined to chip away at my catapult, which essentially hands me the fight. On turn 4, I cast another Magic Arrow, letting my behemoths get the final hit in. Boragus down. I repeat, Boragus down. Now let's see those artifacts. No wonder he's so jacked, right? The fun part is, now I'm gonna be this jacked. Yes. The only thing left now is to sweep away all the remaining blue heroes and towns. I check the surroundings with View Air, seeing there's a nearby blue hero, who, after having to move one tile to get off the cursed ground and cast Fly, turns out to be Craghack. Again. I say hello and goodbye in quick succession, before setting my sights on the little stronghold village to the south. In there hides a hero who looks suspiciously like Desa, but is called Tarek. I cast Lightning Bolt, taking out his goblins. He casts Lightning Bolt, taking out the behemoth. So, I have to resurrect before ending the fight. Nice try, Tarek. You're not fooling anyone, Desa. On we march. I swing by the magic spring, getting a massive plus 590 spell points. Not bad. And then I pass the blue garrison, seeing I wasted my movement by not going for this magic spring. Oh well, forgot about that one. Day 7, and I make a quick stop by another behemoth crag, just because. And I somehow manage to avoid getting to the blue town by moving like an absolute buffoon. No matter. I get there the next day, letting Auto do the job. I recheck View Air, making a path in my mind and following that path to the next town, which is unguarded. Very good. I see Vey, but I can't reach, so I just chill in town. He runs away, but is more than close enough for me to reach. And since we haven't seen Auto in action all day, let's see how he finishes this campaign for me. There's no real threat here, due to my insane stats, my behemoth specialty, and my good looks. So, Auto does the job, Vey is taken out, Blue is vanquished, I am victorious. Deathless. Crewlord crowns a new king today, and his name is Kilgor. Look at this Giga Chad. My reign begins now. I'm king. Just goosebumps. Anyway, what a journey this was. I'm gonna be totally honest. When I saw the cursed ground at Boragus' town, and that I couldn't lure him out, I thought this was impossible. But this is what makes it so satisfying. Finding the solution. Maybe this wasn't the most impressive solution in the world, but I'm still proud. A long campaign finished with a short and sweet scenario. I think that's fitting. When the next Deathless campaign will be, I have no idea yet. Whenever I find good solutions to the Armageddon Blade campaigns, I guess. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please leave a like, comment and a subscription. I would really appreciate that. You can also become a channel member, but only if you want to. Unlike subscribing, you have to do that, especially if you watch this far. I hope to see you next time, and that you have a might and magically good day. Bye bye. A huge shout out to all my channel members: Onufry, Sebastian Kopacz, Manajarmer Running Skull, Dante, Dovid, Original Lamester, Alexanders, Quamosti, Chaos, Recreator 12E, Matt Age, Sealoil, Anubnimus, Radnosorth, Christian Kojukario, Escubani, Lika, and Van Lunis. Thank you very much, guys.